How's everyone doing? Good. It's been a while since I have been here, and my name is Poet Gold. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to obviously be doing 3 pieces, and the first piece I'm going to do is, before I get to the book, is going to be a piece that I was commissioned to write for an event at Vassar College for the March on Washington, their 50th celebration for the March on Washington. And I had the opportunity to meet the wife of Leonard Freed. The photographer Leonard Freed, a lot of times when you look at the photography that reflects the images of the March on Washington during that time, the photographer was by the name Leonard Freed. And so they had commissioned me to write a poem in tribute to his work, and I was blessed in meeting his wife from Germany, so it was really quite a moment. And it's called Freedom is a Birthright.
Bridget Freed?
Freedom.
But the lady, Bridget Freed, Leonard Freed's wife?
Yes,
oh,
yes.
From Garrison?
Yes,
yes. Nice lady, I know her.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah.
Quite, she's so, yeah, wow, that's the only thing I can say is wow, right? Yeah, exactly. It takes America a long time to find its moral compass. I'm going to start again. Freedom in America is based on economics, when it should be based on a birthright. It takes America a long time to find its moral compass, because it's too busy being an accomplice to fear and greed. I heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. state, "I have a dream." And when his lips moved, I believed. But when I turned the faded pages of an old Life magazine, I saw folks who looked like my mama being hosed down on the streets. I couldn't quite grasp the pain of it all, but I've lived to witness the strain of it all. From Emmett Lewis Till to Trayvon Martin, the terrorist no longer wears white sheets. Today, sleaze is by arrogantly amongst us in broad daylight, cloaked by our disengagement, still building institutionalized discrimination, undermining the power of the people of our great nation. Freedom in America is based on economics, when it should be based on a birthright. No child is born who says, "When I grow up, I want to be a drug dealer." No child is born who says, "When I grow up, I want to be a meth or a crackhead." No child is born who says, "When I grow up, I want to be a gangbanger." No baby girl is born who says, "When I grow up, I want to sell my body to pay for my education." The incarceration of dreams, so many with promise, whose minds have become shackled by invisible chains, steel doors shut, locked, throw away the key, still fighting to be free. The NRA has a hold on we. Semi-automatic spray blood on the concrete, backdoor policies to boost the private economy. It's blatant, not a conspiracy. There's more murder and dead in Chicago than Afghanistan. But we don't want to see, in our so-called civilized society, there are citizens still fighting to be free, fighting to be free, fighting to be free for basic necessities: food, shelter, education, and jobs. This is the day, like the photos of Leonard Freed, who captured Champions 1963, the images and face of those who still inspire me to march, to march, to march. For if there's going to be a dominant race, then let it be the human race. A race not enslaved by inequities and indignities. A human race of all people, all genders, all sexual orientations, whose spirit rises like the sun, bright, beautiful, brilliant, and sets peacefully at night. A human race that understands one man's loss is not another man's gain. I heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. state, "I have a dream," and I believed. So the march goes on, because freedom is a birthright that should never be based on economics. I published my first collection of work last year, and the book is entitled "When My Soul Speaks, I Scribe Poetry." And you can go on YouTube. My YouTube is bgoldw, and I was blessed with the opportunity to, it was a spontaneous performance, to collaborate with the Strawberry Hill Fiddlers one day, and there's a performance of this piece with them, and it was a moment. But the book is available on Amazon. Shameless plug, this is what it looks like. And it's also available on Kindle. This is When My Soul Speaks, I Scribe poetry. When my soul speaks, I have no choice but to be the vessel that breathes her life. My mind descends into a deep trance while being fully awake, only to watch as my hand glides across the page, allowing the ink to form words which constructs the story she chooses to tell. When my soul speaks, she commands I surrender to the pen and relinquish all rights to this existence, supplies all the oxygen I need, keeps my blood pure with the touch of every pen stroke that becomes a quiet drum beat, maintaining the perfect rhythm for my heart. I surrender to her demands. When my soul speaks, a metamorphosis takes place. Butterflies are set free. I hear colors like red, blue, yellow, purple, orange, black. They become the sound of her voice, the inflection in her tone, a melody, if she chooses to sing. I find myself surrounded by a cacophony in a social setting that suddenly becomes silent when she enters the room. Heads turn. You can hear a pin drop. Someone whispers, "Who's that?" "Oh, that is my soul. She is the ivories, that perfect note. Like Ellis Scat, she spits fire. There's no water that can douse out her flames. She is indigo, the auroras, warm like a ray of sun. Her light surrounds the earth in a halo. Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Ellington's A-Train, soft as a baby's bottom, giving with a heart of gold. She is pure. She is pure. And this soul, this soul, when she is done, I shall be done. This I know. So when my soul speaks, I scribe poetry. Thank you. And my final piece, when I was writing my book, I actually finished it and was sitting on it for a while. And I don't know how many writers I have here in the house, but I've learned that that's something that happens. And I sat and I sat. And so my mom called me one day and she said, "Baby, is your book done?" And I said, "Yeah, Mom, my book is done." And she said, "So was it out?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm feeling a certain kind of way." She said, "Well, what's the problem?" I said, "I don't know." So she said, "Well, talk to me about it." I said, "Well, I open up with this section called There's No Place Like Home. And I have a poem that I wrote, Poughkeepsie, My Kipsy, and it starts off there. And she said, "Well, do you have a poem about where you grew up? Because those were your initial influences in music and art and culture and food." I love to eat, so food. And I said, "No, Mom, I don't." And so this is the piece where I grew up. I grew up with the clack-clack of dominoes landing on makeshift tabletops to set upon milk crates. Bodegas filled with the sweet smell of white cheese and salchichon. That as a child I called chachichon. Who knew? A 50 cents piece, please. The corner icy man shouting, "Piragua, Piragua." Yeshiva University in Yamakaze. This was my neighborhood, and I loved it. I loved it just because I knew I belonged to something greater than myself. I was living amongst historical giants like George Washington and Malcolm X, whose lives were resurrected from the concrete beneath my feet. Buildings and bridges were built to honor their names. So as I stood next to the 4 tall buildings and seemed to touch the sky, I imagined I could leap them in a single bound because my mind was never bound, that they would be the bridge to connect me to the rainbow. And I would grow up and share stories of these days. There were no white picket fences, but there were plenty of dreams. My friends were like Fat Albert and Bebe's kids, Little Rascal, Charlie Brown, and Peanuts all rolled up into one. But we were called the Bridge Kids. We were being flavored by salsa, merengue, Afro-Central Cubano groove, good soul music, Cadillac the Heights. This is where I grew up. In my hood, most folks gave a damn about someone else's child because they gave a damn about their own child. The word village was more than a 7-letter word or a catchphrase. And poor meant that you were born rich with a sense of ethics. We were strong back then, built with courage, because fist fights never turned into gunfights or turned into pack fights viewed on YouTube Saturday nights. We were never somebody else's fool. And our assets, were not. We're our asset. We were taught it was where our mindset. Amongst Art Deco buildings with a view, this was the neighborhood where I grew. Between two currents, the East River and the Hudson. My thoughts flowed like a stream into an ocean. Entrepreneurs I was influenced by. Drug dealers kept the street clean of robbers, rapists, and thugs. Cops made deals to catch kingpins. And I became a little hustler. My product? My imagination. I grew up to become a distributor of dreams because I hung out with the fathers at the number hole where the library and church all resided on the same block so you could learn math, read, and then pray that your numbers hit. This is where I grew up, my experience, my life, in Lugar Pequeño que se llama Washington Heights. Thank you. I'm called Poet Gold, or Gold, or Spoken Word Performance Artist Gold. I host the open mic as well, which you're all invited to, the first and third Thursday of every month at Simony, which is 189 Church Street. Thursday is about the arts at Simony, so when you guys are finished here, you can come and sing your hearts out at karaoke. And I believe they're doing, on the fourth Thursday, they're doing comedy. So if there's any comedians in the house, by all means come and, do your thing. And I also host the open mic in Newburgh the last Thursday of the month. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.